Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. Let me play my theme song. All right, as you know, happy Monday, everybody. I'm so glad to be with you on this Monday, April 7th, 2025. There's a lot happening in the world consistently and always. It's nonstop. Things are consistently happening in the world. One story that a friend of mine sent to me recently was a teen in Frisco, Texas. This is a horrendous story. A teen literally stabbed another teen, and the teen is saying that it is an act of self-defense. And the challenge is this is a black boy and a white boy. And we know that this entire synopsis, this entire story changes because of the way our country see race. Before I go any further, let me say a really quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this Monday. We just thank you. We appreciate you. We walk in gratitude, dear God. Thank you for allowing us to see this day. We just asking for your protection, your peace. We just asking for you to be a provider in our lives. You are the biggest source over any source, dear God. In your name we pray, amen. All right, that's important. If you are new here, I would like to say I'm Madam President with a Z. I'm 100% politically incorrect. I am from Chicago, born and raised, but I do this every single Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Renaissance woman, you say that you live in Texas and this is a mess. Yes, I agree. This is a mess. But I want you all to see this story outside of any bias, outside of any preconceived notion. I just want you all to see this story. I'm going to share what's happening on the news. This news story is a little bit too long. It's like 23 minutes. So I don't want to play all of this. That's way too long. I'm sorry. I got to find you all a shorter story because I don't want to play 23 minutes of a story. But I do want you all to get a gist of what transpired versus just hearing it from me. That won't work. You know my motto, don't take my word for it. See it. So, all right, I have a story right here. Let me share my screen so you all can see the news. Once you can see it, I want you all to put Karmelo with an K, Karmelo Anthony in the chat. Can see it, put Karmelo Anthony in the chat with a K. Karmelo Anthony in the chat with a K. Once you can see it, I'm about to press play on the story now.
7:43 is the time, and welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Gina Francine. Turning to a developing story this Friday as thousands of people have donated to an online fund supporting a family whose son was stabbed to death at a Frisco ISD track meet. It's one of the ways people are coping with the death of Austin Metcalf. Right now, we want to check in with Fox 4's Tisia Musinga, joining us live this morning with a message from the family. Good morning to you. Alarming news. We continue to get updates this morning.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good morning. Yeah, we are hoping to hear more information and get more information about what led up to the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf from court documents later this morning. But the family of Austin Metcalf, the 17-year-old, they have been just sharing stories about what kind of a man he was and details about the final moments while he was here. But police are saying that 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, who attends Centennial High School, stabbed Metcalf in the chest after a fight at Kirkendall Stadium Wednesday morning. The family says they believe the fight started over a seating issue in the stands at a track meet. Hunter Metcalf, the victim's twin brother, told Fox News he did everything he could to save his brother's life.
Yeah, I pushed my hand on there, trying to make it stop, and I grabbed his head and I looked in his eyes. I just saw his soul leave, and it took my soul too.
I'm so sorry.
Well, police are investigating how a knife got into the stadium.
I want you all to see something right here. I'm going to go back just a few seconds. I want you to see the empathy of the news anchor. Now, I want you to know that news anchors, especially news anchors in America, they are not foreign to death. That means that most times, most news anchors hear of stories where there are fatalities and very, very just injustice all the time. If you are a news anchor in America, you consistently hear of bad things happening. But I want you to recognize and witness the empathy that is crawling out of this news anchor's face and head as he's listening to the brother talk about. I don't know if you all noticed, but this is important. And I'm going to go and tell you why it's important. But I'm going to go back just a little bit so you all can see the empathy of the anchor.
Yeah, I pushed my hand on there, trying to make it stop, and I grabbed his head and I looked in his eyes. I just saw his soul leave, and it took my soul too.
I'm so sorry.
Well, police are investigating how a knife got into the stadium. Anthony is in the Collin County Jail and is charged with murder, and his bond is set at $1 million. Frisco ISD, however, is rescheduling that track meet where all of that happened. They're planning to have it next Monday at a different school, Little Elm High School. Back to you.
Ticia Muzinga with Fox 4 Dallas. Thank you so much for that detailed breakdown. A lot of eyes on this story.
All right, so there's more. I don't want to get into any opinions and thought processes before I share with you more. All right. I would like to share with you. There are more, of course, opinions, thought processes. There are more images. There's this consistency where you see the image of one of the twins, you know, in the football uniform, and that's what young people do. They play sports. They're community oriented most times. If they don't have any real social issues, then they are a part of one another's world. And then this ideology, you know how the media says Karmelo Anthony, he gets this badge of being a bad guy. But guess what? This story don't make a lot of sense right now. You all may say, oh, it makes perfect sense. This story doesn't make a lot of sense as of yet. I want to share with you some other things that's being said about this story. Take a look at this right here. All right. This particular story, the family of Texas teenager accused of killing track rival has raised more than $80K for his legal defense. I want you all to put expensive in the chat. I want you all to put expensive in the chat. Defending the life of your child is a very expensive thing. In fact, I don't know if you all remember I think we were too young to be a part of the Central Park Five. But as you got a little older, you know this is a very popular story. But one of the boys that went to prison for Central Park Five, you know, his family had went bankrupt trying to defend who his son was. Correct. On the media, this is, I want you to see the media. The media consistently shows Karmelo, a high school student, uses his mugshot. They use his mugshot every time they're telling the story. But the white boy, what's his name? I gotta find his name again. Austin. They continue to use his school pictures. So this is one of the reasons that our parents was really hard on us. When our parents was like, bring your ass back home, and who all gonna be over there? When our parents was says, I don't want you hanging out with these particular people. When our parents was on us really, really hard at times that we didn't understand, it was because once this began to happen, you know, there is no defense. You think your parents got $100,000 for an attorney? The judge is going to ensure that your parents they squeeze every dime out of your family. So let me just finish reading this really quickly. All right, so the family of 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony has raised more than $85,000 in donations for his legal defense. Anthony was charged with murder following the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a track meet in Frisco, Texas on April 2nd. An attorney for Anthony has claimed that the stabbing was done in self-defense. The family of the Texas teenager accused of fatally stabbing a fellow high school track star has started a legal defense fund on his behalf. In a fundraiser posted on Give, Send, Go, the family of 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, who was charged with murder following the death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf on April 2nd, wrote that the accusations against the teen were false, unjust, and harmful. This is the official support fund for Karmelo and his family during this challenging and difficult time. The family's message states, the narrative being spread is false, unjust, and harmful. As a family of faith, we are deeply grateful for all your support during this trying period. Your prayers and assistance means more to us now, more than ever. The family adds, as of Sunday, April 6th, the fundraiser has garnered more than $85,000 in donations toward a $100,000 goal. So here's some other context. Anthony and Metcalf were both at a track meet in Frisco, Texas, when Anthony allegedly removed a knife from his backpack and stabbed Metcalf, who was pronounced dead by the time he arrived at the hospital. Defense attorney Derek Walpole has since told the local news outlet that Anthony stated he acted in self-defense. So this is what's so interesting. This is coming from people.com. What's so interesting is they don't even describe the altercation. They just say Anthony stabbed Metcalf. How did we get there? The kid just wasn't walking around with a knife. How do we get to the stabbing? That's the part that's continuously missing every time I'm hearing this story. So I go and I watch a YouTube clip. This was yesterday. I watch a YouTube clip, and in the YouTube clip, they say that Anthony was sitting under the tent of Metcalf. That means that Anthony was sitting under the tent of Metcalf and friends, and Metcalf and his brother and others pretty much was trying to remove Anthony from that tent. And in that altercation, there was a scuffle. And behind the scuffle, that's when the knife came out. But I have to be honest with you, because this is one of the things that I pride myself in, and that is being politically incorrect. You don't have enough jurors in Texas that have the intellectual ability to see this clearly. The defense, they have a dead body. I want you all to know, anytime there's a dead body, there will be someone responsible for a person's death. That's just number one. You have a young man, a young boy. Let's say we keep them all boys. They're 17 years old. You have a young boy. They're sports, they're playing. They may even, I believe they know each other. My understanding is that these kids, they are in awareness of one another. This isn't a, oh, you don't know me and I don't know you. My understanding is that they have some kind of awareness of who one another is. They could potentially be a part of their community some kind of way. Somebody's going to have to pay for the death of this young man. You have the story. We talking about fighting with hands. It's not the same as fighting with a weapon. So I have my sister over here that's sharing that the Metcalf brothers have a history of bullying, which means that, most people know that they're bullies. Most people know that they potentially, they're bullies. Probably rude, disrespectful, harmful, pick on folks, do a lot of things and get away with it. They're athletes, some of the imaging that's going around isn't a reflection of what the news media is trying to portray. But I'm going to be honest with you. Because a lot of folks ain't going to be honest with you. A bunch of white jurors won't give a damn about them being bullies. A bunch of white jurors won't give a damn about their history. What's going to happen is we are going to start with what happened day of. Your opening statement could be beautiful. Talk about who these children were, who they are. There will not be empathy for there will be no empathy for Karmelo Anthony in the courtroom. This is why our mothers told us, don't play games with this system. I can't save you. This story is different without the knife. The outcome is different without the knife. I want all my young Black boys to understand you don't get second chances. You don't get 2 and 3 times to do something. I wish you did. I wish you did. I wish you had the chance to have the Folican of this world and you can just, hey, live how you want to live, do what you want to do, be the bully, do whatever. But the system don't work that way. And one of my people online just made an excellent point. Kyle Rittenhouse, he was able to walk around with an AR-15. He had a gun about as long as my arm. And I'm 5'10", arms in the air about 6'2". The man, the white boy, Kyle Rittenhouse, his gun was so long, he was walking around with it. He used it, killed people, and still got off. Farrakhan has told you 155 million times. Farrakhan said, what are you expecting when when the juror is a supremacist, the judge is a supremacist, the sheriff is a supremacist, the DA is a supremacist, you don't have a dog in the fight. I want to show you a couple things that's coming up as it relates to this story as well. Allow me a moment for the screen to show some of the Facebook stories that's coming out. If you can see this on Facebook, just put Facebook really quickly. I want you to see this will be a historical story. I want you all to know. The media, this will be historical. Pretty much like the Trayvon Martin story, the George Floyd story. This story will be a moment. It'll probably get national attention as it continues to rise. The media will probably, CNN or some kind of the news segment will possibly air this everything when the time comes. It will probably get national attention. Unless there is a plea that happens sooner than later. If there is a plea, and y'all don't understand how this hurts me. I'm going to say this because it hurts me that a young boy, age of 17, he literally has a life ahead of him and is ruined for nothing. I want you all to, think about your life and think about what your life could have been had you been arrested at 17 without any ability to see the light of day for the next 20 years. Anyways, I want to share with you some of what's going on Facebook. Facebook is kind of telling different narratives. I put in Karmelo Anthony, the hashtag, and the Metcalf brothers, they have support. They have, family. They have a lot of support. Karmelo Anthony, I believe he has a lot of support as well. But what I believe that you won't see is Karmelo Anthony and his family, they have to be quiet. They have to be quiet. They don't have the opportunity. The media is not asking them what happened. And if they had any intelligence, they will not be publicly talking about what happens because they need to have it done in court. People cannot tell the same story over and over again, online, then go into the courtroom and start telling the story. They're just going to mess themselves up. This is why the Karmelo Anthony's family needs to be quiet so they can figure out, their defense is going to have to figure out how to save his life. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to save his life. This is another one. Karmelo Anthony, they're just pretty much saying this is the facts. The truth about Karmelo Anthony, let's set the record straight. Number one, it's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. Karmelo had friends there. He wasn't trespassing or looking for trouble. Number two, the claim that one of the twins had never seen Karmelo before, a lie. Number three, no student has the right to remove another student from a school-owned tent. Karmelo is a track athlete, the twins are not. He wasn't even expecting to see them there. Now, here's what they don't want you to know. The twins didn't just ask him to leave, they tried to jump him. Before attacking him, they tried to take his belongings, broke his phone, and stomped on it. The twins are known bullies. So ask yourself, if two 200-pound attackers came at your child, what would you expect them to do? And yet, despite everything, the media is trying to destroy Karmelo's name. They kept posting a picture of him with an airsoft gun, not even a real firearm, to manipulate the public perception. because they want to paint him as the criminal instead of the victim. Karmelo, a respectful, well-mannered young man, a 4.0 with multiple college offers, zero criminal history, a son raised in a loving home by parents who taught him right from wrong. A life was lost. This is, let me just tell you something. This is the stupid shit that bothers me. Two-parent household. This is what my mother used to try to tell my brother. You ain't built for the stupid shit. Listen to what I'm looking at the story. The twins are the bullies. But why is Karmelo the one with the knife? Why is he the one with the knife? You cannot, this is why I don't want you to have a knife. This is why I don't want you to have a knife on you and you're young. Because I can't explain it. I can't make it make sense. Once you have something that they consider to be a weapon, this is why fathers are important. This is why learning self-defense is important. I'd rather you learn how to knock somebody out with your bare hands than to walk around with a knife. I have to get you thinking on a higher level, because once your life starts to change, no one is going to be able to save you. And guess what happens when a mother has to see her son who have had a life of promise? Do you know what that does to a mother? Do you know what that does to a father? What that does to a family? To see their son fighting a system that nobody can beat. I don't give a damn about this. Woke? Ain't no woke community got no jail system. Ain't no woke community got no money. You can't beat this system. How you beat this system is don't get your ass in front of a judge who got 400 years of a grudge. They will never show a brother or a sister love. That's how you beat this system. Stay from in front of a judge. That's how you beat this system. Don't depend on it. Don't rely on it. Don't get dumb. Don't get stuck. People talking about you got intelligence, but you the one with the knife. I can't defend you if you got the weapon. How can I defend you if you got the weapon? This is what I'm talking about. We have to fix this part. I cannot defend you if you have the weapon. All right, I want to finish sharing some of this stuff on Facebook, and then I'm going to move on. It's taking me a little bit longer. Than I thought it would. This story is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to me because I have a brother. I'm so sorry. I think you're telling me, now that you've lost your son. I'm so sorry about that. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I hope that God gives you a supernatural healing to what you have to endure. All right. This is a sad story. We're gonna stay on top of this story. We're gonna continue to watch this story because this is a story to continue to watch. But there's something that I want you to see really quickly before we move on. And what I really want you to see is the other images of the Metcalf brothers that doesn't get a chance to be shown. These are the other images. These don't look like no boys that's timid. They don't look like they just go around getting, you know, they don't look like they just go around, getting pushed on. They don't get pushed on. They don't go around. These boys, they've been probably shooting since they was 12 years old. I went to the gun range a few years ago. When I tell you the white men in the gun range had their little boys in the gun range, there was a little boy had to be about 11 years old. He didn't come past my waist. He had a gun as tall as he was with his family. They were showing him how to shoot. They weren't talking raps, lyrics, playing video games. I'm going to teach you how to hunt. And you know what the hunt is, right? All right. This is just a reality. Ain't nobody gonna play games. Let me tell you something. This is why sometimes I just want Black people to know you won't hear anybody say this. You won't hear Joy and Reed say this. You won't hear anybody on national television, Don Lemon, tell you, Black folks, how you're not ready for a race war. You're not ready for the war that you think you are. You're not ready. We're not even we nowhere near ready. Not ready. Do you know how many Black people don't even like guns? We don't even. Next time you go to the cookout, next time you go to the family cookout, ask how many people have a registered gun in their house. And you will find out not many. Not many. I can guarantee you that there is a divisive, Texas will receive every Black person in Texas, I believe. I don't know what is happening next, but a part of me feels like this is not the end. This is just the beginning of something bigger, potentially in Texas. I ask God for protection for the people in Texas, for their innocence, as well as, this is some things are just disastrous. Texas, they're not done in Texas. This is the beginning of something in Texas. Texas is already extremely racist. Texas is extremely racist. The issue is, when things happen to white people, so many other people must suffer behind it. That's the hard part. That's why we had so many towns get burned down historically. One incident, everybody house got to get burned down. What? The judge, nothing. The governor, the mayor, nothing. No support ever. This is a horrible story, guys. I don't know. I didn't think that I would have this kind of emotional just response to this. It's just, I don't like what's happening. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to do the rest of the stories that I have in mind. I'm just going to do them tomorrow. Do me a favor. Don't forget to subscribe to the Madam President YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen channel. Make sure you subscribe, because when I come on, at 9:30, you can get notified about me coming on. Also, do not forget, I am an author. I wrote a book, Matters of the Heart. In Matters of the Heart, I talk about my father being killed. I talk about growing up in the inner city of Chicago, a lot of the trauma that is still happening all the time. I experienced as a young person growing up in the inner city. Please go to madampresident.com, download my book. I have a journal that's absolutely free. So go check it out. I will share more stories tomorrow. I'm going to just end with this particular story. Don't forget that this is brought to you by flynubianmoney.com. Flynubianmoney.com. This is where you go when you want to grow. This is where you go when you want to get your money up. I just appreciate you all so much on today, giving me the energy and connecting with me on such a tough story. We should all just send light and prayers to Texas, because I believe this is just the start of something. The world has been taking a big shift over the last few years in general. It started with COVID. So I'm just going to say that, all right, I'm out. I'm not going to stay on this too long. This is, if you read and go to some different countries, let's talk about this. The Prince Majestic said, if you have not donated at least $50 to his crowdfunding, you ain't ... That's stupid. That's a stupid statement. And one of the reasons that this is stupid is because Black people, this ideology that the way to support people is through your own earned income is not the only way to show support. Now, it would be very easy for me to say, if you ain't donated to this person's crowdfunding, you ain't nothing, because this is the news that we know. But some people are finding their own crowdfunding. Some women, and that's watching this segment, they have their own children that they're trying to pay dues for, trying to pay court fees for. I'm never going to beat up Black people this way and say, if you don't do this, you ain't this. I already told you this system is massive. This is a massive system. The best way to beat this system is to not need it and not be in front of the judge. So when people start telling you, you ain't this and you don't do this, don't listen to them, because a lot of times, you've never, ever in your life, this story has come to you today, but this story, you have never in your life met Karmelo Anthony. Never. You've never met him. The connection that you have with the story is that you have connection with young Black youth because you, A, was once young, and B, you probably have sons and nephews and cousins just in the same age group. So that's where the connection comes from. But that's where the connection comes from. But there is no mandatory, there is no must in anything as it relates to Black folks. And I believe in that. Only thing that is necessary is unity. Coming together. That is the must. And that doesn't cost anything. All right, I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. I'm over time.